A very good evening to all of you. In this session, we would discuss some extremely important questions for your mains. The expected questions for mains 2022, specifically for economics. Now, as we had previously discussed, there is a huge difference between the paper for mains and prelims. Prelims is highly extensive. Questions are asked from different avenues, but mains is relatively predictable. You know the kind of questions that would be asked for your mains examination. So 20 questions in your GS section pertaining to economy and social issues. It's very predictable what kind of topics would be asked. So that's what we would discuss in this lecture. Before we begin with, here is the list of lectures which we have available, and that is for your GS on doorstep. So here you can go on the option filter by topic, click filter by topic, and let's say I select here Indian economy and issues. Okay, what would happen? The chapters, the videos which are not relevant to it would automatically hide, and then you would have the videos that would be related to just a second. So I click filter by topic and select Indian economy, and then here is the list of topics, as you can see, is highlighted. So this list of topic actually helps you understand what kind of questions would be asked. Now here we have covered the basics of economics. So what is economy, the economics, the market equilibrium, price elasticity, market structure. So basically the elements of micro and macroeconomics. Now the most important thing here is the last few sections that talk about monetary policy, fiscal policy, international trade and exchange rates. Now these topics I believe are extremely important for your mains perspective. Now one other important thing that you need to know for your mains is that while we have discussed the lectures, we have explained it graphically. Like we have talked about demand and supply graphically. You might wonder, these kind of questions are not asked in your prelims nor in your mains. Then why are we understanding the concept based on this? The simple logic is, when you understand it through the curves and the graphs, you understand why this is happening in the economy. So be it the game theory, be it the Nash equilibrium, be it the Phillips curve, all of these which explain a relation, let's say Phillips curve explaining a relation between inflation and employment, would help you understand how the growth curves move, and that's a very important indicator. So coming on to some of the most important topics for this time, and expect one guaranteed question on the following topics, any one of the following topics for your mains examination. So the first most important topic is the rupee, its depreciation, and why in the period of last 6 months the rate of depreciation have been very fast. We should also be able to compare it with the currency of Sri Lanka, with the currency of Pakistan and the neighboring states, how the depreciation of the currency in the neighboring states happened and its implication on the economy in the neighboring states, and is the pace extremely high for rupee depreciating or weakening rupees. In the meanwhile, if you have any questions, please post those in the comment section. I'll be happy to take your queries and doubts as we proceed, right? The next important question is, the imports are rising over exports and we have a current account deficit. Now current account deficit is another important marker of the economy, a very important question. Now when the economy is running losses or is having more imports, that means there are more loans to repay. If there are more loans to repay, that means government would have to pay the interest onto those loans. Where would that come from? So either the local taxes would increase. So as we have seen over the years, the taxes have increased. There are more taxes on packed commodities for essential commodities as well. So rising taxes is one of the implication. But again, we see with price rise there is increasing inflation. Now increasing demand, increasing inflation is set to bound to a stage of stagflation. So stagflation, again an important topic where we have unemployment in the economy, but along with unemployment there is rising inflation. In the last year's expected question, we talked about gig economy as an upcoming topic, and gig economy was one of the questions in 2021. So make sure the topics that we are discussing are important. Sachin, we have already covered 2019 previous year questions. They are also available on Doorstep Tutor with detailed answers. For 2021 papers, we would be covering those in the coming sessions. So if you are subscribed onto onto Examrace YouTube, you would receive the update regularly. I hope, Sachin, I was able to address your query. 2019 is already covered, so just check, just search the YouTube Examrace with 2019, right? So inflation, price rise, stagflation, very important topic. Now, gray swan effect, again an important topic. Lipstick effect, again an important topic. Lipstick effect is a effect where people tend to reduce their requirements from discretionary products, and they move towards staple commodities. So there is a difference between discretionary products and staple commodities. Staple commodities are essential commodities, discretionary are luxury commodities. So rather than going for big luxury items, they squeeze their spendings to only lipstick, and this is what is known as lipstick effect. And this was a common impact of recession in 2008, which was witnessed in the United States. So recession, the global recession, America is set to dive into recession in 2023-24, and therefore the implications on India are grave. So what would be the scenario for recession in India, how we can proceed or check on the developments in the present scenario, so that that recession does not have a deeper implication onto the economy. We have already seen a very high rate of unemployment. The unemployment state in Haryana, for example, is somewhere around 25% to 30%, which is significantly high. The next is political instability and its impact on the economy. Why I have mentioned this is the recent Russia-Ukraine crisis. So now, in light of the Russia-Ukraine crisis, we have seen the economic implications are grave. Now, these two countries together are called as the food basket of the world. Countries like Egypt, Indonesia, Philippines are highly dependent on the imports from Ukraine and Russia. Now, when there is political instability, the supply chain gets interrupted, the international food price increases, and that has an impact on a country like India as well. Why do I say on a country like India? Because India imports most of the nitrogen fertilizers from these nations, and with the recent nano urea technology that we have developed, we are trying to reduce the import of fertilizers. We are trying to reduce our dependence on fertilizers, but our dependence on fertilizers is still very significant. So that's again a rising concern. In light of that, there is another issue, which is food insecurity. Now, since social and economic paper comes together, food security is another important concern that you must address here. Food security in light of climate change. In light of climate change, we have also seen refugees rising, also mass migration. So these are related and relevant topics, how the impact of climate change has been onto the native population. Countries like Bangladesh, a lot of land has got submerged, and therefore there are grave implications on the economic infrastructure. Refugees, the population of refugees are increasing, climate induced migration is rising. So food insecurity related issues become important. Again, in light of the political instability, we have seen that the issues of food insecurity are rising, because if we don't get adequate fertilizers, definitely the production in the country would be affected, and also at the same time it's a good opportunity for India to export to other nations which were dependent on Russia and Ukraine. But this year, due to heat wave, due to inadequate food production, we are not in a position to export. Rather, there is a shortage for the domestic consumption as well. So food insecurity and associated malnutrition, rising malnutrition, undernutrition is another important concern. The next big issue that we need to focus on is the fiscal and the monetary policy. Now, fiscal and monetary policy, as I have mentioned, we have discussed here in detail what is crowding out, automatic stabilizers, and the issues related to it. In a country like India, it's very important how government intervenes when the economy is on its downturn. So the country is facing rising borrowings, rising loans, so that is increasing definitely the import basket of India, but at the same time the amount that we are earning through export is reducing, so the import export gap is rising, and that again has an implication to India. So bilateral trade relations with other countries become important. India has been helping its neighbors like Sri Lanka, Pakistan, Maldives in the state of economic downturn which is witnessed in those nations, but still India needs to chalk out its plan for fighting the current economic crisis. So those are some of the important topics. Now, as you have seen, even in prelims 2022, there were lots and lots of questions pertaining to loans being taken, role of World Bank, International Monetary Fund, borrowings from IMF. So again, those issues become important. There are numerous projects being started with foreign aid, and that foreign aid, when it stops, these developmental infrastructure projects would come to halt all of the sudden, and that's again a grave concern for an economy like India, which is having a significant proportion of its receipts from the borrowings. Again, what we need to understand here is, besides these topics that we have covered, it's important that when you are writing your answers, when you are presenting your answers, you include case studies, either include case studies or include statistics. Now, it's not required that you have an in-depth knowledge and an in-depth statistics, but a brief outline about, let's say if it is depreciating rupees, you can say what was the currency in 2020, 2019, 2010, and then you can say over the period of 2010 to 2020 the depreciation on the currency has been very significant. So a little of statistics can help improve your answer a lot when you are writing your answer. So from these topics that we have mentioned, expect at least one question. Cover these topics carefully. Extremely important from your examination point of view for 2022. And definitely those students who are looking for answer writing sessions, answer practice sessions, you can send in answers for evaluation. I'll be more than happy to have a one-on-one feedback call for explaining the topics and making the concepts clearer. Wish you very good luck for your upcoming examination, those who are writing your mains this time. And again, those students who have been appearing and practicing for your UPSC for 2023 targeting 2024, keep your preparation for mains going as of now. So don't keep it for the last moment. Start your preparation for mains right now itself, and that would be a good way. Towards the December end, you can start with your prelims preparation, so that in your May and June you can appear for your prelims examination for 2023. So that was the session for today. Hope you enjoyed. Wish you very good luck. If you have any questions, post those in the comment section. We'll be handling your comments personally. Have a wonderful day ahead.